With this today, but let's go ahead and start rolling solo. So, as the sun sets in the high desert, dust in the air, creating a panoramic streak of reds and oranges and fading into the slowly purpling sky, going to the east. We see a pile of rubble on the ground in a desert basin. It looks like a town has collapsed here. There's chunks of metal from perhaps a water tower, planks, chunks of wood, shattered wood shingles, bits of roof lying in a pile on this desert floor. The pile moves, it shifts. And crawling out from the pile of rubble, we first see Aetheris, a humanoid looking individual. They look human until we get closer and we can see there's a faint glow to their skin and a glow in their eyes, this bluish glow, blue-green. They're coughing and stumbling. This woman is coughing, she's stumbling, she's grasping at wood to pull herself out. Nearby, a male figure with pointed ears who appears to be mostly constructed of stone crawls out as well. They're both dressed in classical Western type gear. The difference being that she's wearing a long duster and he is wearing jeans and a vest. His feet are bare, made of rock. He is also coughing, and as he coughs, you can see that there's more wind swirling around him than seems to be available in the natural environment, as if he's generating a certain amount of this. Walking up from several feet away, several, 100 yards away or so, we see another woman with glowing eyes. This one is wearing a cowboy hat, again a long duster. Her hair is blowing about her as wind stirs. Her skin is also slightly rocky and craggy looking. Her eyes have a glow. She seems to be of the same kind of person as the man in the vest. His hands are wrapped in leather. He looks a little beaten, a little bloody, but not nearly as bad as the first woman we saw. This is Terrace, our Aetheris druid. The two who were in the rubble stand together, kind of looking at the woman walking up. She's got a rifle casually slung over her shoulder and looks practically jaunty, untouched, unfazed, well put together. And as she approaches, she says something along the lines of, "Well, that wasn't so bad, was it?" And the two fighters just look at her and stare. We cut from that scene. Some of the rubble is now in a pile in what looks like it's going to be a fire pit. Terrace reaches out a hand and creates the, and the fire begins underneath her hands as she lifts them up. The three of them have managed to, near their little makeshift camp that they're creating here, we can see there are a string of 6 horses. And they're settling down. They've got their saddlebags off the horses, digging through them, looking for what rations they might have. The fighter, the man, Dusog, the Juggernaut, turns to Terrace and asks, what brings you out here anyway? Why are you still fighting with us? This is getting rough. And she pauses for a long moment before answering, and kind of looks at him and as if it's the simplest thing in the world. She says, "Well, this is my desert. I'm here to protect it. I think we've only just begun to find the horrors that are coming out from underneath the sand. I've heard, well, do y'all know why these monsters are coming up out of the ground?" Two of them shake their heads. They have no idea. They were simply sent here to be engaged in this fight. So she tells them she thinks an old god, Kudamat, is gathering power, pulling it out of the desert. He's disturbed by the Essentia miners, by the greed of the people who wish to exploit this desert, take its riches far away. We have much fighting to do remaining to us, I believe. Ruby says, "Well, I do not mind as long as the money remains good." Money? Child, it won't matter how much money you've got or how far you run. If one of the old gods rises again, especially this one, Kudamat the Destroyer, well, ain't just the dry lands that'll be in trouble. And at that point, we will take a long rest. Aribia, our assassin, being a bit of a ranged fighter, will clear the 1 armor that she took in the last fight. And the 1 stress as her 2 downtime moves. Terrace. Well, the druid took the worst of it in that fight. Marked all 6 armor slots and almost all of her hit points. She will clear those and keep her 2 stress. And I really thought that Dusog, being a melee fighter, took a lot more damage in that fight than he did, but he took 1 armor and 2 stress, which he will clear. The question that comes to my mind as they rest, somewhat exhausted, is their rest undisturbed? So let's go ahead and make our first roll. And we'll find out if their rest is undisturbed. And this is a Oracle roll that will make with the Daggerheart Oracle. And we'll see what we got here. Is their rest undisturbed? It's an 11. Which, if I am not very much mistaken, I believe that's a no. The rest is not undisturbed. That is not the thing I want. I want this. Okay. I want to close my searches. I want to get my... Okay. Well, I have completely forgotten how to use Obsidian. Let's see. Oracle. Okay, you know what? I'm just going to go with that's a no. It's a no with hope. So that's no. And they will not be disturbed by anything particularly nasty. They will be attacked by... Let's grab some... They're in the middle of the desert here, so... This is very... there we go. There we go. All right. I'm going to say it rains. That is the thing that occurs. They are caught out in a rare rainstorm, and we will see, we will have them roll. I'll have Terrace roll a knowledge roll to see if she did well enough in camping them out. We'll give it a 12 to have them not be flash flooded. Yes, but with fear. Yes, a little fear. And on that fear, everyone will take a stress. Okay. We're rocking and rolling. Or at least rocking. Or, actually, at least rolling. So, we get a nice thunderous storm that occurs, lightning flashes, gullies rush, the horses spook. We are... our rest is disturbed, stress is taken, but nothing other than that, since it was a roll with hope, which I will mark a hope for her because I forgot to do that. Terra Stakes of Hope. Does the rain scare up any adversaries for them to have to face? Let's find out. Yes. Yes, it does. What kind of adversaries are we going to have to face? Let's find something. I didn't plan on starting a fight this early, but you know... Let's see what we've got at tier 2. Interesting. Okay. We're going to borrow a creature from the Age of Umbra campaign. We're going to borrow and reskin a little bit the Corrupted Fane Warden. So what happens? What happens is that as this rain falls down, as this storm slashes, a chunk of earth is separated from a nearby. You know, there's a hill near where they are, and as the water erodes away, they turn and they see, glowing with light, a sword, an ancient warrior, seemingly undead, but still fleshy but decayed, carrying a rusted blade, steps forward, shrieking as it sees them, and steps forward, meaning to attack. And with that, we will... the first thing that will happen here... so this creature stumbles. They see it walking into their fading and sputtering firelight. In the light of the half moon is being occasionally glancing through this cover of clouds. So you have darkness and you have patches of light, and they see this thing coming through in a passive light. It comes within very close range of them, and I will immediately spend a fear for it to make a... it makes a slashing attack against all of them as it comes into very close range of them. So, here's its attack. We'll just give it one attack and match that against everybody. 10. Okay, so on a 10, it's +3. That's 13. That will hit Aribia. That will hit Terrace. And that will hit Dusog. So all three of them will take 2d10 plus 8 physical damage. 2d10. Okay, that's 4 plus 8 is 12. So 12 will be... minor damage on Aribia. She will mark an armor. That will be minor damage on Terrace. She will mark an armor. And that will be minor damage on Dusog, who will mark an armor. They are all pushed to far range away from this creature. Now, because I gave them a long rest already, I'll say this is also sort of happening in the morning. So the dawn is starting to come up and they find themselves pushed away from their fire. As the creature begins to turn towards their horses, without which they are in deep shit. So, Terrace will use her new ability, because they all just leveled up because they defeated a Colossus. And no, will not, because I did not use that. Aribia will spend 2 stress as her action to... She will spend 1 stress to send Dusog into... use her Gale Force, a gust of wind. She conjures up a gust of wind, and Dusog is rushed on this gust of wind, flying into combat with the creature that they are facing. And he will make his attack. So he comes in punching at the Guardian. That is a hit. It's a hit with fear. He rolls 2d10 and 2d6 damage. So I just had 2d10. So what did I do with them? Put them here. Here's my 2d6. And let's go ahead and give up our Fane Wardens. 7, 8 hit points and 4 stress. Dusog comes in punching, and he does... Oh, that's terrible damage. Does he have anything to re-roll that? Nope. Nope. He's got nothing. So that is 1, 2, 3, 12 damage, which will be minor damage against this creature. So he makes a glancing blow on the target, and the Fane Warden will heal a hit point or stress. Okay. So I think he's just going to swing. Just going to respond with a blade attack. Just another 13, which will hit. He will do his 2d10 plus 5 physical damage. How do I keep losing d10s? I just add them, I pick them up, I put them down, I have them in my hand. 10s. 6 plus 5 is 11. 11 is minor damage. I think Dusog will continue to mark armor. He'll take that hit point. He'll take damage. I'll spend a fear to activate the Warden again. So 6 plus 3 is 9 and misses. So Dusog takes one sword shot, one sword swing, and then manages to duck his way out of the other one. And play will return to our players, because I don't have a lot of fear. I just started a fight. The first thing that will happen is that Aribia will mark another stress. And again, she touches Terrace and shoves, and with that light shove, a blast of wind flies from her hand and carries Terrace into the battle, where she will make a move. What will Terrace do? I'm meaning to use more. Nice. She will reach out, and flames leap from her hands. And she will make an instinct roll of +3. And this is just a +3 roll to use Cinder Grasp. Okay, that is another roll with fear that will hit. So the target takes a d20 of damage. It's d20 plus 3, that's 16 damage, which will be major damage. So we'll mark those two. And bursts into flames. However, when they mark 2 or more hit points from an attack within very close range, they can mark a stress, which they will. To make a standard attack against the attacker. So, Terrace comes flying in, reaches out, touches this thing, it bursts into flames, it makes a standard attack. That's a 15, that'll definitely hit. And it will do 2d10 damage for 14 plus 8 is 22, which will be severe damage. No, which will be major damage. So, armor, hit point. And again, oops. That's Aribia's sheet. And again, Terrace will take an armor and a hit point and is pushed back out to far range. So, yeah, that's what's going on. So now it acts again and will continue to swing at the target in front of it, which is Dusog. That's a hit. Alright, that's 2 plus 5, 7. Dusog will take... will mark an armor to handle that attack. Swings at him again. Spend that fear. That's another hit. That's a 3, and I think that was a 5. Yep, it's 8 plus 5 is 13. Still minor damage. We'll take another armor. So Dusog is taking these blows and managing to more or less block them, but is nonetheless taking heavy shots. I think Aribia is going to take a shot at rather than sending Terrace back into the fight. Aribia, not prepared for this, was setting herself up after sending her 2 allies into combat. She sets herself up to take a shot. She will use Deadly Focus. She will apply all of her focus towards this target. And she will mark a stress to mark this creature for death. That is cocked. That is 9 plus 2 is 11 plus 3 is 14. That's a miss. It's a miss with hope. So she gets a hope. But that leaves Dusog again being swung at with this blade. And getting at 11 plus 12 to 13, 14 against his evasion of 13. That's a hit. That is 17 plus 5 for a grand total of that would be, what did I say that was? It was 17 plus 5 is 22. That is major damage. It will mark a hit point. Mark an armor. Running out of armor. Aribia is going to try taking another shot. This time she'll spend a hope on Sniper, making this a plus 6. Okay. 8 plus 6. 14 again. That's a miss. It's a miss with fear. The Warden attacks Dusog again. It misses. It attacks him again. It misses again. He's got its number now. As it's swinging, he's got the rhythm of it. He's fighting back and forth. He comes in, and Dusog will respond with a punch. Let's give him a chance to punch at this guy. Okay, that's with hope. Dusog finally has a hope. And that is 15 plus 3 is 16. He hits. So he ducks underneath the blade and punches at the body of this bloated and dying, crazed undead monster. And we'll do 2d10 plus 2d6 of damage. It's a little better. 6 and 4 is 10. 6 and 1 is 17. So Good news and bad news. Good news is he does 17 damage, which is against this creature major damage. Bad news is that Bane Warden gets a response that will hit. That will be 2d10 plus 8 damage. That's 4, 7 plus 8 is 15. Dusog, that is minor damage. He will take the hit point. And is pushed also out to far range. But play returns to the players. Aribia will... Aribia will do two things. Aribia will not do... Let's go with what does Terrace do. Terrace is at far range. Before she can move, Aribia will mark another stress. She's running out of stress here. I think she's going to hold off on doing that. Terrace is going to mark a stress. Oh. I set this guy on fire. He takes 2d6 damage. Twice. And is sitting there on fire because he's acted at least twice since he was set on fire. Terrace, seeing that that creature is on fire, does nothing. She stands back and lets it burn. Aribia will now take her opportunity to take a shot. And she will spend that hope, and she will spend it on Sniper to make this a +6. That is 10 plus 6 is 16, which hits. Doing, since she made this her deadly focus, she will do 3d8s. And 2d4s, because she marked it for death. So, 6 plus 7 is 13, plus 3 is 16, plus 4 is 20, plus 5 is 25, which hits the severe threshold of the Corrupted Fane Warden, and they manage, as the sun breaks through the clouds, this creature collapses into the ground and begins to dissolve into the desert as the rain falls upon its body as if it had never been up, leaving nothing behind but a rusted sword and corroded armor. And the three of them look at each other and say, "We got to get out of this desert." They will take a... They will ride. It would be foolish, wouldn't it, to not take a short rest at this moment in time. So we'll take a short rest. And I forgot to take my fear for the long rest, which is, I believe I should get 3, 1 for each PC, plus 4 just for taking a long rest. I'm not positive that that's the case, but we're just going to go with it. Because I can never remember the rest rules, which is a problem. Yeah. I'm going with that. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. That's fine. It's one of those things that you would think it would be easier to find in the book, but it's just one of the unfortunate facts of life that you can't always find everything that you want to find when you want to find it. Let's see. I'm going to look this up for sure. Number of PCs plus 1d4, so not plus 4, plus a d4. So I got my 3 rests, my 3, plus 2. Okay. Alright. Number of TCs plus a d4 in advance of long-term countdown. On a short rest, gain 1d4 fear, so I will go ahead and do that now. I will gain 3 fear. Isn't that better? And now our players will take their downtime moves. Aribia will take this time to to de-stress while everybody else is doing other things. She will clear... Ooh, that's a 1. She will clear 3 stress. And I think she will clear her armor. She doesn't need to roll for it because she's only got 1 armor slot marked. Terrace will also clear some stress. Will be 4 and is all of her stress to clear. She will clear armor. She only has 2 marked. She will definitely clear that because it's a d4 plus your tier. And then Dusog will clear 4 armor. And 2 plus 2 is 4 hit points. And they're all looking better, and so am I. And they rescued their horses and will ride off into the sunset. None the worse for wear after their encounter with this strange creature. Gotta say, for a tier 2 solo, he went down hard, but he went down easy. But, you know, what can you do? So... Wow, we're at 45 minutes already. And so 45 minutes, that is a reasonable length of time for an episode of Rolling Solo, which is what you've been watching. I'm Paul. I play Daggerheart. Um, Solo while you watch. And I also, on occasion, sell things on an Etsy shop at Solid Soft Design. For example, the Rolling Solo hoodie that I'm wearing right now, as well as other hoodies with various phrases on them. You should check it out. Um, and y'all keep rolling.